Now, here in Germany, speculation is mounting that the German government is on the verge of collapse. The three-way coalition government, made up of the centre-left Social Democrats, the Greens and the business-friendly FDP, is often referred to as the traffic light coalition after the colours of the three member parties. Now, they've been in power since 2021, but now the FDP Finance Minister Christian Lindner has triggered a fresh dispute that observers say is backing his coalition partners into a corner.
Crisis talks at the German Chancellery on Sunday. Are these the final hours of Olaf Scholz's government? The Social Democrat Chancellor and his Green and Liberal coalition partners are at odds over how to revive Germany's struggling economy. Last week, proposals from the FDP Finance Minister were leaked. He wants reductions to pensions, tax cuts for high earners and a weakening of climate goals.
This current situation, with different concepts, talks by the Chancellor, the paper by Mr. Habeck, proposals from my side, I can promise the citizens we will resolve the situation quickly.
But given his wish list is an absolute no-go for his coalition partners, some see this as a pretext for him to pull the plug altogether. Now, all eyes are on a meeting of the government on Wednesday.
It is important to clarify whether we all still have enough stamina to continue on this challenging and strenuous path together.
If the answer is no, it could spell the end of the traffic light government in Berlin and potentially even snap elections.
Well, our political correspondent Hans Brandt joins me now for some analysis on this. Hans, with this document, this economic reform program, has Germany's Finance Minister Christian Lindner essentially filed for divorce from the coalition?
He hasn't said so in so many words, but it's certainly a potential for that. There is, in fact, a historic precedent to this. The Free Democrats were in a coalition with the Social Democrats 40 years ago in the early 1980s, and at the time the coalition fell apart when a similar sort of paper was published at the time, and eventually the Free Democrats, the Liberals, left that coalition government and went into a coalition with the Conservatives, with the Christian Democrats. That's a scenario that is not quite as easily done this time around because of the different weight of the various parties in the German parliament. So there is a potential for divorce, but as we've just heard in that quote from Lindner, he is not saying so in so many words. In fact, he's saying, well, let's talk about this. This is my proposal for how we should go forward. At the back of the minds of all the parties involved in this government are there very bad performances in recent regional elections. All of these parties, the Greens, the Social Democrats and the Free Democrats, have been losing significant support amongst voters, and that is also reflected in opinion polls repeatedly. So if all of these parties are doing so badly in polls, the question is what would they get out of leaving this government? And that's really what each of them has to decide for themselves.
So Hans, just talk us through some of the options that Chancellor Olaf Scholz has left to keep governing for another 10 months. That would obviously be before the next general election here in Germany.
Yes, the regular elections are scheduled for September next year. Scholz has been saying this government has been elected for a certain term. It will complete this term, and he's going to do everything possible to allow it to complete that term. And he's been scheduling meetings between himself and the two leaders of the other two parties involved in the coalition repeatedly. One of these meetings took place this morning. At least a couple of others are scheduled until Wednesday night, when there is a meeting of this larger group of people from the coalition. So Scholz is basically trying to find a compromise. All of this is really centered around economic policy, and there will be a decision on economic policy in mid-November, in about 10 days' time, when the budget for next year has to be decided. So that's really the point where this will come to fruition, as it were.
All right, that's our political correspondent, Hans Brandt. As ever, Hans, thank you.